Maxie. I live in LA, and it is a hard town on the self-esteem. I don't know if anyone ever has been there. It's like living in a TikTok. Just incredibly beautiful women everywhere you go, and I find it difficult because I go anywhere else. I went to Canada, and there I was basically a supermodel. I come back to LA, I'm basically a moose. If I feel good about myself in any other town, I'm like, oh, I must be really attractive. If I feel good about myself in LA, I'm like, oh, I must be on coke. I've been trying to be an actor, and I'm sure you guys have friends also doing that. It's hard because it's basically a job where I pay an agent to tell me I look 30 years older than I am. She said I had to do something about the bags under my eyes, and I was like, I can't help it, they're genetic. All the women in my family have them because all the men in my family are exhausting. It's hard being told as a young woman that you're not attractive enough for the industry. Like, I had my most recent acting job was acting offended when a guy catcalled me. He whistled out of his truck window as he drove past. I was like, Pig! I don't mind it. I feel flattered when guys do that. Other day I was walking down the street, some guy went, hey girl, shake what your mama gave you. And I was like, oh. Clinical depression's pretty hard to shake, but okay. Had a real nasty awakening since turning 30. I now take my bra off and there's a drop. Some of you have experienced this. Not because they've grown, unfortunately. My boobs are now a little bit like Tom Cruise in an action role. Little bit of a stretch. It's hard because I wasn't born hot. Some of you are looking at me like, oh, what's wrong? I was an ugly duckling growing up. And I know this because my Ukrainian grandmother had a very cute nickname for me. It was Ugly Duckling. I would play Dance Dance Revolution against my ballerina friend Janet, and my grandma would go, why can't you be more like Janet? Dainty. I'd be like, why can't you be more like Janet's grandma? Dead. It's hard growing up a teenager with small boobs. I know it's a weird complaint, but basically I was waiting for my boobs to come in at the same time as I was waiting on my Hogwarts letter to come in. It means an entire generation of parents had to sit their daughters down and say, honey, I'm so sorry, but you're 12. If it hasn't happened by now, you're still gonna have to learn math. I finally understood what a guy with a small dick felt like. Having small boobs as a teenage girl, you finally look down, you're like, well, I guess the only thing I'm growing between now and graduation is a personality. Let's get it out of the way. I know it's hard with all these new labels and orientations and stuff. I identify as single, which really bums out my boyfriend. We went to a dinner party, 4 couples, 1 single guy at the end of the table, and my boyfriend leans over and goes, God, I feel so bad for him. He's the only one going home alone. And I was like, I'll take care of it, see you in the morning. My boyfriend and I have a lot in common. My stepmom always asks if he's gay. Her name is Barbara. We call her Barb. It's short for hurtful comment. He and I cleared up that we were both perfectly straight because I was like, ugh, at the thought of going down on a woman. And he's like, well, I love it. And he was like, ugh, at the thought of going down on a guy. And I was like, yep. We recently moved in together. I've never been, anyone here in a long-term relationship? Yep, that's about the excitement of it. Are you in a long-term relationship? Look, I love my boyfriend, but I didn't realize that you guys have heard if you don't buy the cow if you can get the milk for free. My boyfriend bought the cow, we moved in together, and suddenly I was like, why are you so thirsty? He wants milk all the time. For someone who has more experience being in long-term relationships and knowing that sex should slow down, or at least normally does, I'm really amazed at how little he knows about milk production. I'm like, you just moved the cow into the house with the farmer breathing down my neck. I don't think that's gonna increase my output. I'm tired a lot. I have a finite amount of sexual energy. Like if you get me home at 10 p.m., you have a small window to have sex in. Small window is what I call my vagina. And it's been frustrating because I don't want to hurt his feelings about why I don't want to have sex all the time. I'm sure some of you guys have had this conversation. I've tried to explain to him, look, honey, it's like if you didn't feel like having sex and I tried to make you. No? Huh. Okay, honey, it's like if I reached out and just put my hand on your dick and you didn't want it. Still not getting it. Okay. Well, let's try it this way. Maybe the cow misses having autonomy over who she gave her milk to. No? Maybe the cow misses the days when she had more than one customer. No? Maybe the cow is so sick of having her teeth tugged at, she's waiting for the day she dries up completely. I get it. We think I'm frigid. I am. It's just I got used to a certain amount of sex with my energy that I could be okay with. Now I view having sex like paying taxes. I mostly see if I can get away with not doing it. And when I get caught, I'm like, okay, how much is it gonna take to smooth this over? Turn me into a real sex Republican. Because I got used to a certain amount of sex tax and I do not want an increase. I'm like, no sir, keep your hands out of my pockets. Keep the rates low. You're right, Dad, he is a liberal bum. I really thought you guys would hate on the liberal bum a little bit more. You guys have surprised me with how progressive you are. Congratulations. Liberal bum is also what he was hoping to get out of the relationship. It's okay. I appreciate him. I don't want to be back out there. I don't know if anyone's tried dating recently, but it is horrifying. Thankfully, I get hit on by a lot of women. They're very lovely, and I turn them down. They're equally lovely. Men, as soon as you turn them down, get a little scary. When I'm getting hit on, I get the compliments. I soak them up, but men and women obviously react very differently. If I turn down a woman, she lets me keep the compliment. That's okay, beautiful. Thanks anyway, gorgeous. You have a good weekend. I turn down a man, he takes it back like, dumb bitch didn't want you anyway. Women let me go home with a party favor. Men let me go home if I'm lucky. Tried to think about why women are so much better at taking rejection than men, and I was like, maybe it's just we're used to getting 70% of what we ask for. I asked my boss for a raise. He said no. I was like, that's okay, beautiful. Thanks anyway, gorgeous. You have a good weekend. A lot of my guy friends are unsuccessful dating, and I keep trying to help them, give them better strategies for getting women. And I said, step one, you're asking out the wrong women. Stop asking out 20-year-olds. They haven't lowered their standards yet. Any single guys in here want to get a lady 30 and up, that's your game. You ask out a 20-year-old who's not interested, you're getting, ugh. You ask out a 30-year-old who's not interested, you're getting drinks. And my guy friends think they're so smart about getting women. They're like, nah, you gotta strategize. You gotta stalk her a little bit. You gotta make sure you get to her just the right moment. I'm like, no, stop. I don't want to be treated like a target. Ugh. I want to be treated like Target. Just go up to a woman and be like, hey, you have everything I need. Why would I go anywhere else? Instead, some of my guy friends still insist that you have to neg a woman, treat her badly, make her feel badly. I'm like, no, now you're treating her like Walmart. Like you're embarrassed to be seen inside of her. I think it's because we're women, we love to give each other compliments, and we can do it without expecting anything in return, right? No agenda. Like this girl was walking down the street the other day, and I passed her, and she was wearing a pretty dress, and I said, excuse me, you look really pretty in that dress. And she said, ugh. And I was like, dumb bitch didn't want you anyway.